Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get back to it as I beg Logan Paul for a sponsorship. The stuff's good. You guys drink this stuff, Prime? Stu, you drink
Really?
Prime?
No,
You got to try it. It's got a
I
little.
won't. I just because I'm not a Logan or Jake Paul fan. So
Well, that's okay. You can still like Prime. It's a little sweeter tasting than Gatorade. It's pretty good.
really,
Yeah, 25. This WWE bottle that I just happen to have in my hands that you may have seen on the show last night at WWE Money in the Bank. 25 calories.
okay.
Pretty good stuff. But welcome back to the Mark Hoke Show. As I keep begging for money, I'll stop now. But best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Thanks for joining us. Very happy to have you with us. I'm Mark Hoke. Thanks for being with us. Stu Myrick is here from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Great podcast. You can follow him at Stu Myrick on Twitter, as he was generous enough to give me time to sit in today. Always enjoy having Stu on the show. All right. So we got through Forbidden Door. We got through John Cena's retirement speech at Money in the Bank. Now let's take a look at what happened last night up there in Toronto. All my friends were goofing around up there, having a great time. All right. Men's Money in the Bank match kicks off the show, right? You would have made some money if you put money on Drew last night. I was begging for Drew to win that. I said that would be a great call. Let's let Drew run around with that briefcase and torture everybody for a while. So I wanted Drew to win the match. And I thought the match was pretty solid. And I am now ready for some Andrade and Carmelo Hayes matches. Stu, are you ready for Andrade and Carmelo?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They showed themselves well during the ladder match. I think that would be a good rivalry to, carry on till Cleveland in SummerSlam. I think that might be a good SummerSlam match with Andrade and Carmelo Hayes.
Yeah, Andrade needs something, because I'll tell you what, when he came out, the crowd went, psh. It was weird. It was unfortunately, it was one of the worst intros. It was just, they were so dead for him. I don't know what it is, because the guy is so good, but he just can't seem to get everybody behind him. A great series of matches with somebody as popular as Carmelo Hayes, boy, I'll tell you what, that would be, I could see a good long run with those two together.
Yeah.
They'd be able to do something really special. So, but they did not win. And of course, LA Knight did not win again, but of course he's tied up with Logan Paul. So no worries there. Jey Uso loses again in another big match. Oh, and I feel so bad for Jey. It just seems like every time he's in a big match in WWE, they have him come up short, and I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either. I wonder if maybe they're saving him. They want to reform the bloodline with Jimmy and Roman when Roman comes back. But yeah, it would have been nice to give Jey something. But look, I think everybody expected Drew McIntyre to win the briefcase. And you talk about, wanting to see Drew carry it around. He said that he was going to cash it in that night. And he did.
He did. I think, oh man. Okay. Well, I'll save it. Drew wins the case, and we'll stop there for a minute. Then we get to the Intercontinental Championship match with Sami Zayn and Braun Breaker. And Braun looked outstanding. Sami wrestles another good match. I had a little beef with this match, though. It was the ending. If you think back to that, Braun was beating the crud out of Sami. And all of a sudden, Sami just pops up, bam, bam, and Sami wins the match. And I'm just like, Braun was just had him clobbered. And all of a sudden, somehow out of nowhere, Sammy just puts 2 moves on him and the match was over. And it kind of took me out of that match because up until that point, it was a great match. And by the way, kudos to Braun for saving Sammy not once but twice, especially off that second. He did a moonsault off the barricade, and Braun caught him about, I'll give him 6 inches off the ground before Sammy did a square up head plant into the mat. That would have been on the floor. That would have been very bad. But your thoughts on that match? I'm curious to hear, Stu, because this is a piece that took me out a little bit.
It didn't take me out necessarily. I kind of agree with you. I would like to see Sammy it would be a moment, the right moment, the right time, catches Braun, double rollover or something like that, rather than what they did. I agree with keeping the title on Sammy because I think there's a few more stories that he can tell. We can build Braun. They can build Braun more and have him go for a world title, whether it's Cody or Damian or whoever holds that world title. But yeah, I mean, the finish was a little hokey, but
thanks.
I think I'm sorry. I think I'm not as perturbed about it as you. Let's put it that way.
Well, here's my other issue with this too, is that they were really building Braun up to, I mean, this was almost like a Goldberg-y kind of build with him. And all of a sudden it stopped. And why not, instead of putting him in this match with Sammy, why not keep that going for a while? Let him just keep tearing people apart, because now you hung a loss on him. And, they were, I don't know. See, I guess I didn't have a problem with Sammy winning last night. I don't. And I don't want anybody to get me wrong about it. But I just feel like Braun was just looking like this invulnerable monster. And now you cut that run really short.
I don't think they would have done a Goldberg type run. I would have liked to see Sammy with a different opponent and have Braun with a different opponent. I thought trying to build Sammy and Braun felt a little out of place. But I'm not like I said, I think I see what they were trying to do. I think they could have gone about it a little differently. I don't think this loss will hurt Braun in any way. And in fact, post-match, they show Braun sitting, outside the ring, with that look on his face. Like, yeah, he made a mistake, or he got caught, So I think Braun will be fine, and they can keep building him. And again, like I said, I think eventually he needs to have a run at the world title.
Yeah, I agree. By the way, Bionic Scoop is in the chat box screaming my name. Thank you. I'll give him a scoop right back. Best photographers in wrestling out there. Pretty amazing. So got to say hi to Scoop. So you're starting to see the theme for me on this, by the way. The not quite-ish kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we get into this World Heavyweight Championship match, and oh boy, and it was going so well. It was going so well between Damian Priest and Seth Rollins. And then the pinfall that wasn't. And if you didn't see it, Seth Rollins had Damian Priest pinned, and the referee stopped the count. Just out and out stopped. For some reason, Priest did not kick out, did not move. And then shortly after that, and I actually deleted the tweet because I was dead wrong, but shortly after that, the lights came up, and then Drew McIntyre came running in with the case. But boy, Zapata, the referee, just, if he would have done what is normal protocol, which is whatever happens, you go with it, and had put his hand down and said, here's the 3 count, Seth Rollins is the world champion, what a disaster that would have been. So I give Mike Zapata a lot of credit for having the common sense, and I don't know if somebody just because I don't know if they could have reacted in time and telling him through his earpiece, don't make that 3 count, because I'm sure he knew what was probably going on, but still, had he made that 3 count, dear Lord, it would have upset 4 different storylines at once. So it looked really bad, but at the same time, he made the right call by not putting his hand down.
I think that's true. And maybe, yes, you're right. And I've talked to plenty of referees, and that's saying you're working, you call what you see. So yeah, when they go down, someone makes a pin attempt, maybe they're supposed to have a kick out at 2, but if that person doesn't kick out, well, guess what? Ref's going to count 3, and that's it. But at the same time, like you said, yeah, you would have definitely upset the apple cart, so to speak. So I get it. When Drew's music hits, first thing I said was, why now? Why not? Why not do like everybody else does and wait until the end of the match when whoever has won has been beaten down, then take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the logical thing. But no, Drew decided he wanted to play early.
A bad decision. Here's another that's another piece of this puzzle. That was a terrible. Who makes that decision? Of course, he's angry and fired up, so he's Drew's not thinking straight.
Well,
so we'll give him that.
And you had the ref bump after that. So it becomes a triple threat. Then you have the ref bump. Drew makes a visual 3 count. There's no ref.
Yep. So yeah, and then Punky Brewster comes in because of course it's no DQ. So
we talked about this on my show about certainly they wouldn't have Punk mess it up for a 3rd time. They're going to put the title on Drew. That way, Seth can still challenge because see now Seth can't challenge because Damien's still the champion.
Yeah. So just just to back up real quick, in case you didn't know the stipulations on the match, and understand the calamity that would have happened had Zapata made that 3 count. Seth Rollins was, if he lost the match, was unable to challenge for the world championship.
As long as Damien
was the champion. If Damien had lost the match, Damien was out of Judgment Day. So Damien would have lost the match. He'd have been out of Judgment Day, and Seth Rollins would have been the world champion. So the match would have been over. So Drew would have been coming in if he was going to cash in the case. Well, now he'd have been cashing in on Seth, but the whole point of Punk coming in and screwing this all up was not only to make Drew mad, but to also make Seth mad, because they had already had their jaw jacking when he came back, when Punk came back in at Survivor Series. So there was a whole big tie-in, and that little tap would have just screwed up everything, because then you would have had to advance the Judgment Day story, because obviously they're going to blow up soon. They foreshadowed that on the show, and Seth would have been the world champion. Well, how do you deal with that? Because that wouldn't have worked with Drew coming in. Why would Drew come in and go after Seth like that? Because then now you have a Money in the Bank case with Drew. Does Drew knock off Seth? Does CM Punk stop? Does CM Punk stop Drew from beating Seth? And now Seth is the world champion going into SummerSlam and taking on Gunther. I mean, it would have been a calamity. So yeah. But I think it was now the Seth Rollins thing, and Michael Cole and Corey Graves put it over as collateral damage. Yeah.
So I think there was, I don't know if it was intended that way, but
I think it was.
It happened.
Yeah.
Now, why Drew wouldn't cash in on, or why would Drew cash in on Seth? Pure and simple. Drew beat Seth at WrestleMania. And if Punk doesn't screw him over, Drew's probably still the world champion. So he wanted to prove he can beat him again. So it makes sense. The Punk thing, I mean, I laughed. I was laughing. Because, like I said, I'm thinking surely not going to have Punk do it a third time. And then here he comes. And there he goes. And then Damian hits the South of Heaven choke slam. 1, 2, 3. Damian's still the world champion. So I thought it was hilarious. It was just one of those things made me laugh.
And, and I feel bad for Damian too, because people are going to be tearing him apart for what happened, that he didn't kick out on that whole thing. And people have been kind of up and down on his world championship reign so far anyway. And now he's going to get saddled with this too. And I'm curious to know why he didn't kick out. And I think my theory on it was the music was probably supposed to hit, and everybody was supposed to stop and go, "Oh my God, here comes Drew," and it didn't happen.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. And I wonder why people are. Look, Damian Priest is a fantastic in-ring performer.
Oh, he is.
I mean, he's so good. He's got the look, the facial expressions. And I've been a fan of him going all the way back to when he was Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor. I've met him several times, and I was thrilled when he won the world titles, just because it was vindication. It was validation of what he had gone through, taking a chance on himself. So I don't get this like doubting Damian Priest. Other than, I guess they're thinking it's going to be, an avenue towards breaking up the Judgment Day. And you mentioned, yes, it was foreshadowed. We saw the look on Finn Balor in that little vignette in the Judgment Day clubhouse, so to speak. So, and now Damian Priest has got to, face Gunther at SummerSlam. But yeah, I think Damian Priest is a fine world champion.
Yeah. Now, it was funny when we had Matt Black on from WrestleZone a couple weeks ago. His comment about that match is, who cares about that? Nobody wants to see Damian Priest and Gunther. And to a point, I understand his comment, because that one's like, it just seems so thrown in. And that's part of the reason that I hated the stipulation about King of the Ring getting a world title shot, because does it make sense even having Gunther in this mess right now? I mean, when you think about it, wouldn't have been more fun to have one of these three guys, either Seth, Drew, or Punk, in this world title picture, as opposed to now you've got Gunther in this mess, and I don't want to see Gunther take a loss. It doesn't make any sense for him to pile on. So now, if Gunther wins this world title, all these guys are out, because no one's beaten Gunther once he gets that belt for a while. That's for sure.
Well, but I think that's what's intended, or at least a lot of people think Gunther will win the world title at SummerSlam. That's been talked about for quite a long time, and especially after he drops the IC title to Sami Zayn, I think a lot of people do expect Gunther to be the world champion. So, now, and you mentioned it, Gunther is almost unbeatable. Now we know there have been, they mentioned yesterday, 3 people in WWE that have beaten Gunther, and that's
Ilya,
Sami Zayn, Ilya Dragunov, and Braun Breaker. So, I guess you could do an unbeatable world champion, have him go for, I don't know, a year or so, but I think there are those that expect Gunther to win the world title at SummerSlam.
Yeah, I can't see him losing the match, but I suppose it's possible. I'd imagine the Finn Balor screw job is coming up here at SummerSlam, so that'll pull Damian away because he's going to have to end up fighting with Finn Balor and the boys after that's done. But that's going to be intriguing because I'm guessing here, but I think they're trying to get all the way back to Seth and CM Punk again, like they were planning at WrestleMania last year. But I don't want to see Gunther be collateral damage and all that, which is why I just think he should have been left out of it. Let him lurk, and it would have been fun to maybe go Cody and Cody and Gunther. But I don't know. There's a lot of intriguing stuff happening as over the next 6 months. This will be a fun run to WrestleMania for sure. We got to take a break, and we come back. We're going to talk about that women's Money in the Bank match and that wild 6-man match. Some issues, more issues. Maybe I'm overreacting. I'll let Stu try to set me straight again. He's doing a good job so far. He's helping me out. I'm giving over my Money in the Bank anxiety. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back on the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. It's the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Stick around. We got a whole lot more coming up.
.101.5 FM KDAWN. This is the Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Mark Hoke.
And we're back on the Mark Hoke Show as we continue hour number 2. Best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all of you listening, no matter what the outlet is, be it on the Odyssey app, whether you're tuning in here on X, Facebook, or YouTube, or of course on 101.5 FM to Talk Las Vegas, making us the top-rated live show on our station. We certainly do appreciate that. And occasionally, knocking on the door of the number 1 show in the time slot. Just got to get over Casey Kasem. Stu, I got to beat Casey. We talked about that. I'm going to get him.
Battling someone that has been dead for several years? Okay, sure.
I got to do it. But yeah, we're having a great time here talking pro wrestling. Of course, Money in the Bank, wrapping up our discussion on that. And we had the ladies' Money in the Bank ladder match last night, and Tiffany Stratton is your new Ms. Money in the Bank, and she's going to be bedazzling that cute little case. That should be fun.
And paint it pink.
Yeah, it's going to be pink, which is cool. I'm down. But
why not?
But Tiffany Stratton, of course, said at her press conference, she's going after Bayley. Looking forward to it. So that should be some quality entertainment. So cool, Tiffany Stratton winning the case.
Yeah, I mean I think that was expected, and the match was great. I mean, all 6 women, just laid it all out in the ring there. Some of those spots, Naomi doing the splits on the ladders, that was a little but yeah, that was a good match, and yeah, should be fun to watch Tiffy time with the briefcase.
Now, I may go back and rewatch this. Look, I enjoyed most of the match. At the beginning, there were some missed spots that were just scary. I mean, there was one Zoe Stark, I remember, where she missed and caught her head on the end of that ladder. Yeah. Oh, that looked bad. I mean, there were a few others, and it got off to a little bit of a rocky beginning. But then the ladies really turned it up and cleaned everything up, and it looked good. I mean, Zoe with that bump with Io. Oh, that was a beautiful spot. I hope Zoe's feeling okay today, because that looked like it hurt like a son of a gun. But
yeah, I agree. And I tell you what, I think Chelsea Green, her star rose a lot after that match. If for no other reason, she just, so entertaining in the ring. I love the character. Chelsea Green is a fantastic performer, and I hope her stock is rising, because I want to see more Chelsea Green.
She was funny, but she also demonstrated a toughness last night that I don't think she'd really had a chance to do so far in WWE, because for those that hadn't really seen her perform lately, I mean, she's doing stuff in GCW and, with her, with Matt and all sorts of crazy things that, I mean, she's a brutal performer. I mean, when she's called upon, she'll do just about anything. And then she took that fall off a top of a ladder outside the ring into 2 tables, and everybody was just like, wow, that was Chelsea Green. And like, yeah, everybody else that hadn't been just a casual WWE fan knew that was Chelsea Green, but she's just been running around like this little spoiled brat. And now I think everybody realized, hey, you know what? She can go. And I hope that helps her out tremendously. Is, you know, I want to see the nasty Chelsea Green now. I'm ready for it. It's about time.
I'm there with you.
Yeah. So her stock definitely went up last night for sure. But Tiffany Stratton will be running around skipping with a bedazzled pink briefcase. We'll see if she cashes in and if she's the one to knock off Bailey. But that would be fun if Nia Jax knocks off Bailey at SummerSlam and it's Tiffy time and Nia. Yikes. They're pals, but still. That would be a hell of a match.
That would be fun.
Yep. So we get to the final match of the night. Our Bloodline taking on Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. Oh, man. I wanted to love this match. I really did. I did. I wanted to love this match. And there were some really cool spots in this match. Jacob Fatu, as expected, phenomenal performance. You know, the stand up after Randy Orton did the dangling DDT, perfect. I mean, Jacob is an athlete like very few people in pro wrestling, and I cannot wait for them to really, really continue to just let him roll. I mean, when he gets a match with Roman sometime, oh baby, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be absolutely incredible. But here's where I'm going to throw the stuff that I couldn't stand in this match.
Okay.
First off, that low blow spot that was blown, and Tongaloa. And I'm sorry, but the videos that were popping up on this were kind of funny. It was really a critical point in the match, and I feel bad that Tonga kind of missed it. But if you didn't see this, there was a spot where the referee had been knocked out, and it was looking like the good guys were going to take over, and Kevin Owens had Tama Tonga up and in the air, and Tonga came in and did a low blow, but the first one kind of missed, and the second one went a little long. And he actually punched Tama Tonga on the top of the head. It was pretty funny, but still, it was very visible in the middle of the ring, missed spot, kind of hurt. But my problem was the end. That referee took 2 huge bumps. He should have been dead, Stu.
Yes.
He was dead. But somehow, after the bad guys took over, in typical Bloodline fashion, they picked him up, and he just magically, boop, oh, he's all good, and goes in, counts a 3 count. I'm like, what?
They should have brought down a second referee.
Oh, because it just, I was enjoying the match. I thought, there's a lot of great stuff going on in there, but that ending just killed me. I'm like, how is this referee up? And you can see where I'm getting at, Stu. There was just a lot of little stuff that just pulled me out last night. It was just a lot of little stuff.
I mean, look, the way the ending went through was what I expected. Bloodline goes over.
And Cody gets pinned by
Solo. Yes, they should have brought down a second referee, because I think his name's Jason Ayers. He was obliterated.
Yes.
So bring out the second referee. I get that. You mentioned Jacob Fatu. Oh my God, this guy.
Oh,
and look,
love him.
Anybody that watched Major League Wrestling, they know what he can do. Former world champion there, of course. He was the face of Contra Unit for so long. And I got to know him when MLW would come to Texas. They'd come to and go to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I got to know Jacob through that. So I'm thrilled that he's getting this exposure, and he is taking every bit of advantage of this, and he's showing out and he's showing everybody what he can do. And yeah, it's not going to be long before he is going to be one of those prime players at the top of the card. So I'm thrilled for Jacob. This was, I mean, we knew this was going to set up Cody and Solo probably at SummerSlam. There was a lot of questions about, okay, when does Roman come back? Because, you know, he's coming back.
Yeah.
I have it in my mind that Roman's father, Sika from the Wild Samoans, he passed away. And I know from, you know, others, sometimes the best therapy is to dive into work.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking Roman comes back a little sooner than maybe it was expected. I wasn't expecting him back last night.
Yeah, they couldn't do it today because of yesterday because the funeral was yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday.
And not just that, it's not Money in the Bank is a great event. It's not SummerSlam.
No.
And I think they find a way for Paul Heyman to emerge and bring out Solo, or bring out Roman. I think there could be a way. You got Cody versus Solo at SummerSlam. Cody gets over by the skin of his teeth. The Bloodline attack Cody. Here comes Randy Orton. Here comes Kevin Owens. They get obliterated. And then here comes Paul and Roman.
Mm.
And Solo gets that, you know, Cena ghost look on his face. And then let's kick that off.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. You know, one other thing about this match that, and I think they got to be careful too, is they got to be a little bit careful with Tama and Tonga here, because one thing that I was a little disappointed about was, you know, you already had Tonga outside the ring and the big spot of the match kind of missed, but man, Tama was taking a beating last night in that match too. And you got to be careful. You don't want to make these guys look bad. I mean, you're already elevating Jacob very highly. I mean, these are the Guerrillas of Destiny. This is one of the dominant tag teams in Japan for very long, which Michael Cole was putting over.
Yeah.
Make sure that you don't. Name. Yeah. Make sure you don't. Make sure you don't make these guys look like they're a couple of stooges. You know, they're vicious and very talented. So, you know, I think they've got to watch how they're doing these matches, because you don't want to lower these guys down. I mean, because I don't think that match helped them last night.
I would like to see more tag matches with Tama and Tonga.
Yeah.
Tama and Tonga. I want to see the Guerrillas of Destiny together. Now, they're not going to call them Guerrillas of Destiny because that's a New Japan thing, but I think that might be the way to make sure they're still elevated, is to let them do tag matches, whether it's Cody and Kevin, or Kevin and Randy, or Cody and Randy, or you know, bring in, you know, some other tag team, and let them show why they ruled the tag scene in New Japan for so long. Yeah, it was kind of a, like when Michael Cole said Guerrillas of Destiny, I was like, oh, okay, it is definitely a new era. But yeah, I agree. You got to keep them kind of on a high level. It's going to be it, and I don't think there's too much worry about that. It's just simple that Jacob is just so talented.
Yeah,
you can't stop him.
Yeah, I got to see Jacob here wrestle Hammerstone, or was that against Hammerstone? God, now I'm blanking.
Well, they did that.
It was against Karrion Kross. It was against Karrion Kross.
Okay.
And here in Las Vegas, when it was Kevin's first match after he'd gotten fired from WWE. And those two had an incredible match, but Scarlett actually co-redded him, which was unreal. But you got to think about how both of those two had to execute that spot. That's how good Jacob Fatu is, that he made a code red with Scarlett look amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, just wow. I mean, he's an incredible performer. So look out for Jacob Fatu. But there is one other man that is looming out there, by the way, in this whole thing. And that's our buddy Dwayne The Rock. And we're going to talk about him and that little special that WWE put out behind the curtain for WrestleMania 40. And where is Dwayne going to play a role in all this? Because he's still looming. And did Dwayne make me happy or sad when I watched this show? I'll tell you when we come back. Stick around. Stu Myrick with me here on the Mark Hoke Show. We'll be right back.
.1015 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Mark Hoke Show. The Mark Hoke Show. Now, here again is Mark Hoke.
All right, let's get back to it. Final segment of the Mark Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM. Talk of Las Vegas. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling down there in Austin, Texas, and he is sporting that burnt orange on the live stream.
Hey, by the way, I want to make a quick plug. Tonight, I also do commentary for a promotion here in Austin called Inspire After Death. We are celebrating our 11th anniversary.
Hey, there you go.
With Terror Comes to Ecstasy of Gold. It'll be tonight, 6 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Pacific, on Independent Wrestling TV, IWTV, from the Empire Control Room Garage on East 7th Street in downtown Austin. Great card. Sumi Sakai, the former Ring of Honor Women's World Champion, will be on the card. Kevin Knight from TNA, NWA, great. He'll be on the card as well. So hope you'll check it out on IWTV. Inspire After Death. Terror Comes to Ecstasy of Gold.
Yeah, just be careful inviting Danny Limelight down there. He's bringing his daughter around.
He goes to Houston or Texas City. He goes to Booker T's Reality of Wrestling quite a bit.
Yeah, watch out because little Lisi was causing trouble and helped him win the FSW title here a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you saw the video of that, but
I did. Also, send positive thoughts. We got Tropical Storm Barrel raging in the Gulf. It's supposed to make landfall sometime early Monday morning around the Victoria area, just south of Houston. Hope everybody gets out of there safe. It looks like it's going to miss us here in Central Texas. It's going to veer to the east, but definitely hit Houston, College Station, that area. So just thoughts and prayers to everybody down on the coast.
Yeah, be careful, everybody down there, and take it easy. Well, by the way, just real quick, Andrade put up a picture of his back on X. It ain't pretty. It ain't pretty.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, he had a tough night last night. But so I watched the WrestleMania XL Behind the Curtain special. Of course, talking about the lead up to WrestleMania 40 and how that main event all came together. And I said, was I happy or was I sad after I saw it when it came to The Rock? Neither. I was ticked. Because I was right about that whole thing. Dwayne stuck his nose in there. And God, I'm sorry. I think Dwayne was greedy on this one. I really do. He made and it's funny, he's getting roasted with that picture of him because he said, "Well, I made a call to Nick Khan, and someone took a screenshot of that, and it's been going around where everybody's saying, that Dwayne made a call and whatever happened, and been making fun of it. I'm sorry, and I know he's got on the board at TKO, but he was like, well, you know what? I think I can make a better main event. And, we were planting the seeds for this for years. And, when he went out and said, well, I was in Denver, I made my appearance. I got on the show and said, hey, you know what? I'm going to float a test balloon out here when he made his head of the table comment out there on January 1st. And I think he was selfish on this. I'm sorry, but I do. I don't know. Did you get that feel, Stu, or
a little bit? Now, at the same time, it was good to see. So remember when that went down, Cody gets in the ring, says, I want that title, but not at WrestleMania. Talk about getting counsel from The Rock, and then here comes The Rock, and it looks like it's going to be Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania. And the outrage that poured out from the fans, the "We Want Cody" chants and all that good stuff. I give Triple H and Nick Khan credit for pivoting. Because it sounded like if that hadn't happened, yes, we would have seen Rock versus Roman. That would have pissed me off. Because you've been building to Cody. You have him win the Royal Rumble, and now he's not going to get a world title shot at Mania. That would have pissed me off. So being able to see the writing on the wall, make the pivot, and then create what they did, I'm glad that happened. Yeah, I think Dwayne was a little greedy. And I think there's still going to be something. Now, what that looks like at WrestleMania 41, especially now when you factor in the fact it'll be John Cena's final WrestleMania as a wrestler. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Do we see Rock Cena 3? I don't know.
Yeah. See, and I will say I'll give credit that they did realize, hey, this isn't going to work. We got to change it. So credit to Dwayne for being willing to make the change, but the situation wouldn't have happened if he hadn't pushed this whole thing. But now we have another situation where he came back out, you remember, after WrestleMania and had that thing with Cody and said, I'll be seeing you down the road. Mm-hmm. And from what a lot of stuff that I've read, the tentative plan is to have Rock and Cody at WrestleMania 41 here in Las Vegas. But what if that doesn't work out? What if there's something different that is going to play better? Because here's the other issue. Wouldn't Rock and Roman make more sense now?
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't it make more sense? Because here's where my creative mind is thinking that The Rock is behind this new bloodline, right? You would think Roman lost. Rock didn't get beat by Cody. Roman did. And Roman got speared by The Rock in that tag match. Mm-hmm. So you have some pieces there that would set up Rock and Roman for WrestleMania 41. But then he's saying, well, I'll see you down the road, Cody. So now you have two different paths there, but it would seem like Rock and Roman would be the match to make. And now we're talking about, well, John Cena's going to be around too. So this is where The Rock interjecting himself makes things more complicated than they need to be. Because you could have just had Rock, Roman, and Rock's behind this new bloodline, and boom, now you got Rock, Roman, and off you go.
You're right. And remember, he says, I'll see you down the road. That doesn't have to be at Mania. It could be the Royal Rumble. It could be at Elimination Chamber. It could, if they do another spring show in Saudi Arabia, could be at that one. So Rock versus Cody doesn't have to happen at WrestleMania. Because I think you're right. I think Rock versus Roman, that's the match for Mania 41. I would say maybe Cody versus Rock at Royal Rumble. And that's the one that's going to be in Indianapolis at the Colts Stadium. I'd do it there. And then Roman versus Rock at Mania. As far as The Rock is behind this new bloodline, you could find a way to make that happen. I'm not so sure about it. if only because it just, I don't know, it doesn't look right. I don't know why, but it just there's something missing from it.
Yeah, well, The Rock doesn't like to lose. Solo doesn't like the loser either. So, but yeah, like I said, I just thought that it really, The Rock could have waited. He could have waited. I mean, it came out okay. As fortunately, you got a lot of people that put the egos aside and figured it out. But it didn't have to go where it did. But they lucked out. To a point, they lucked out. So, but it's an interesting documentary, and I'd recommend everybody take a look at it. And Stu, tell everybody now. Like I said, you got Dustin Rhodes coming on your show. Tell everybody a little bit about that before we get out of here.
Yeah, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Great wrestling insight from great wrestling insiders. Get it wherever you get your podcast. This week, I will talk to the natural Dustin Rhodes about the Rhodes Wrestling Academy Star Bash, which will be next Sunday on their YouTube channel. I also talked to his nephews, the newest chapter of the Rhodes Legacy, Wayne and Wyatt, the Texas Outlaws, about their start in the wrestling journey. They've got a match at Star Bash for the Rhodes Wrestling Academy tag team titles, and it's a bunkhouse match, which, of course, creation of Dusty Rhodes. Check it out, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, wherever you get the podcast.
All right, Stu Myrick. That's Stu Myrick. STEW is Stu. That's Stu. And it is a stew, to say the least. And he helped me cook the pot here today. Appreciate it. Stu, thank you so much for joining us. I do. Very happy to have you on the show whenever we can. And, guys, yeah, you got it. And that's going to do it for us here on the Mark Hoke Show, guys. We will see you next week on KDAWN. Once again, give us a follow on X at Mark Hoke Show, Facebook, The Mark Hoke Show, YouTube, The Mark Hoke Show, MarkHokeShow.com. Just get in on the family. We do appreciate it. And we hope you have a terrific Sunday, Las Vegas, and wherever you're listening around the world. We'll see you next time for the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Want more of The Mark Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Mark Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Mark Hoke Show, and visit MarkHokeShow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Mark Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join The Mark Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.